Howdy, it's Bonnie. I have a quick ad for you. I've started podcast recording about 4 years ago. Always been on the hunt for a good platform to invite my guests and conduct the interviews. One that would allow me to have control over the audio quality and one that would assist me once issues arise. It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using a browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sound and up to 4K video with a few guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality even if the connection is unstable. Go now to zencaster.com/pricing and use my code BonniesLegends, that's BONNIESLEGENDS, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Howdy, it's Bonnie, and welcome to another episode of Bonnie Sessions. Quickly, before I talk about what this episode is about, I just wanted to point out that I am introducing who I am on our Instagram at Bonnie Sessions. So, in case you ever wondered who is Howdy, it's Bonnie. It's me, and I'm introducing myself, what I do, and also, who works with me on this podcast? Spoiler alert, it's just me. And so if you want to check that out, that's on our Instagram at Bonnie Sessions, where we also post our regular visual contents of the episodes we're posting and a lot of music recommendations as well. So check that out. And yes, so today's episode is in a way a preview, more bonus episode to the one that's coming out next week. I have Jocelyn Nielson with me. I interviewed her about 5 months ago about storytelling, her writing routine, which she publicly shared on her TikTok to keep herself accountable. And so we talk all things storytelling, Disney as well, because she's reviewing Disney films on her TikTok as well. And yes, so we met up actually twice, because in the middle of our first meetup, we just started discussing films, starting out with Julia Roberts and my Letterboxd obsession, and then we just continued on talking about our favorite tropes in films, also in storytelling, and ended up talking, I think, about 20 minutes of this is about Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. So if you ever wanted to hear a discussion around that, you're in the right place. I hope you have fun listening to this. If you enjoy films, all kinds of films and music, we also have now a subscription, a monthly subscription. It's called the Music and Film Club, and you get one monthly personalized playlist. And soon, so not this coming month, but soon, you also get access to the film club, where I will invite short film directors and writers to come on and present their short film. And yes, all the money goes towards providing the show and also supporting the artist we actually interview. So if that's funding in the future, helping to fund short films, or buying vinyls of the artists we interview, and giving them away. Yeah, so that's the news. As always, make sure to subscribe to this podcast, which stays for free. And yeah, especially because next week the entire episode with Jocelyn and me is coming out. So make sure to subscribe to get notified and have fun listening to our film discussion. I sometimes have an obsession with Letterboxd, like with the app, the film app.
Yeah.
And I sometimes really get into my head, like I love that they give you a percentage of like, so you have watched, like my friend always says, that's actually how I even noticed that it's giving a percentage. But the same friend who laughed about the Tabinwechsel, pointed it out that I've watched about 33%. I think, but now it's in the 40s, but I've watched like at that point 33% of all Julia Roberts movies. And he was like,
nice.
that is impressive. And I was like,
that is impressive.
I was like, sure, like she's just in a lot of movies and I just love her. And he was like, no, that's like, that is impressive. And I was like, okay. So, you know, now I'm in my 40s, but like that's where I noticed it. And since then I like really get into my head and be like, ooh, how can we level up?
I love that.
Yeah, so I love doing that. And then just randomly, like I always pick an actor. And so like I think last 2 weeks ago I chose Richard Gere, and I was like, oh, I haven't watched something of Richard Gere in a very long time. I think possibly that's like really clicking in my mind. If like I watch a lot of Julia Roberts movie, obviously my Richard
Gere will show up.
But I was like, oh, I haven't watched like a new movie he was in. Like where was he in anyway? And so I like looked on, and I always try to look on Prime and Netflix and like Disney, right? I have like all of the streaming platforms, so I don't have to pay to watch a movie. And then like randomly you sometimes get really random movies that probably flopped, and not even the like, I mean, the biggest fans probably know about the movie, but like the casual fan doesn't know about it. And so I watched like I watched then The Hoax, where he's like playing this this author who's like failing and never gets like a publishing deal, and then he comes up with this made up idea of like ghostwriting like a biography of like some famous dude. And then like it's really good. I mean, I can like, it's a good movie, but I can see that it hasn't reached it hasn't reached the fame. But I really love how like sometimes that's how like I talk with people and I mention a movie and they're like, I've never heard of that movie, and who's playing in there? And I'm like, Richard Gere, and they're like, he's playing in there? Like I should have known that. And it's like, so I really like how sometimes I like really watch random movies and people are like, what the hell? So that's my obsession. That's sometimes maybe I should also like talk about it and like do a TikTok series on that. Like just let's watch random. Let's get my Letterboxd scoring of Julia Roberts to 50%.
Yes, I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah,
I actually watched one of her movies like a week or so ago, The Pelican Brief. Ooh. with Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah,
that one I really like. And then she's so pretty. I love when she has her curly hair in movies because it's so pretty. And then Runaway Bride is another one that I've enjoyed.
Obviously.
Obviously,
I just talked about Richard Gere. Of course I like that movie. That movie, I've watched it as a kid. I was obsessed with that movie as a kid. I was also obsessed with Pretty Woman, and then I noticed that they've like my two main career, like they were my favorite actors when I was young. So when like my dad pointed out they played like like Pretty Woman is not the best movie for a 6-year-old kid to watch on repeat, So my dad suggested I could watch The Runaway Bride. And so I watched it a lot as a kid, and I liked it more as Pretty Woman as a kid as well. So and I completely forgot about it, but like I have this weird, like I always continuously, like every year I start writing a story which entails a bride running away. And I, for some reason, I always ask myself, like, why is this story stuck in my head? But like I've recently rewatched the Runaway Bride, and I was like, I think I
That's
see where this is coming from. So yeah.
Yeah, there are a few tropes where I'm just like, yeah, like my comfort tropes.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
like I watch like one of my favorite, I love like marriages of convenience or like forced
Mhm.
proximity, and then
Mhm.
always a good enemies to lovers. Just
Yeah.
because I love the way that putting those limitations on their interactions, where like it encourage like those boundaries,
Yeah.
where it encourages the interaction so that whether they end up together in the end or not,
Yeah.
they still like have to get through that time of like interacting together.
Yeah.
And it just sometimes it's done really horribly, and I'm just like, what, like, why would you mess this up? Like, how did you drop this bag?
Yeah. Yes.
And yet when it works, it's so satisfying.
Mhm.
And it's just like, even when you know what's going to happen in the end, you just like cry along with them. You're like, oh, they ended up together.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I pretty much enjoyed that about the Runaway Bride, how it's like really clever. Like in the beginning,
Oh,
like
it's
you
so
can
good.
sense it, but it's still like there's like still so much like freedom, like for the interpretation to watch,
Yeah.
and also like for yeah, for the writers to have written back then. Like there could
Well,
have been so
oh
many
yeah.
possible things
Oh,
happening.
absolutely. And that's one of the things that I love the most about how they approached Runaway Bride, because they made it about her. Like
Yes.
it wasn't like, even though he was the one who was searching the story, it was her story to tell, and she was the one
Yeah.
telling it. And so then when we get that montage, spoilers for when we get that montage, like that montage at the end of her trying out the eggs, like figuring it herself out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yes,
Yeah.
this is how you focus equally on, like, this is how you make both main leads a
Yeah.
priority.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
so
character
good,
development.
such a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I really love that. I also recently started as in summer. I've Do you have that your For You page on TikTok just shows you sometimes like edits of like TV shows or
Oh
films?
yeah.
But you feel like never you don't
Half of
even know how the algorithm came up with that?
I I know. I swear, like, I would say 15 to 20% of my For You page all is always at least like a like a movie
Yeah.
edit, a character edit, or because I actually, there was one week where half of what I saw was Colonel Brandon, specifically
Mm,
specifically, if I could speak, specifically the Alan Rickman Colonel Brandon from the 1995 Sense and Sensibility.
yeah.
And I mean, I think I liked every single one of them. I loved every single one of them because he just was so good
Yeah.
in that movie. But it was one of those things that I was like, every time I see those, I'm like, I want, now that I'm seeing this edit because someone creatively put it together,
Yeah.
just like, I have to watch this movie now,
Yeah.
just so that I can relive in fullness
Yes.
the
Relinger.
amazingness.
Yeah,
Oh,
relinger
so
that you're not feeling. Um, yeah, but that's how I started watching the X Files. I've never watched the X Files because I don't like spooky stuff.
I've never seen the X Files either, but I do keep seeing them pop up occasionally on
Maybe they
TikTok.
pop up for you because they popped up for me.
Probably. Next time I'll see one, I'll tag you in it and be like, thanks, Bonnie.
Yeah, do that. Please send me all the edits. So yeah, TikTok convinced me to watch the X-Files. I knew my brother like really loved it, and actually figured it now out why he had watched it back in the 90s, like as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He watched it because our dad was a big fan of Scully.
Ah.
Gotcha, Dad. So, but I knew about it, and I was like, I'm not into spooky stuff. Like, this is not for me. I'm a girl, like, get away. But I had gotten like so many edits of it, and I was like, I just watched one episode and let's see. But like and I mean, because I have watched all these edits, and like it's not a TV show like that's coming out right now, and so I kind of was already spoiled, and I knew that
Yeah.
Scully and Mulder would not come together, but I also knew that there was a chemistry between them, and it really like it
Yeah.
still kills me to this day. Like I'm right now in season 5, and like whenever they, like the recent episode, they like have to sleep over in a forest and they have like nothing to eat, and he's like in shock. So she hugs him, and it's like, oh, like I know how this is ending, but like damn, like it's so good written that the like still is like me, I'm spoiled. I know that nothing's going to happen, but like I still have the hope of like they touch each other in the way they look each other.
See, that's one of the things that I like. I like spoilers because it allows me, like, even when I know that a couple is not going to end up together,
Mm.
I can at least like process that, and then when I'm actually watching, then I can be like, okay, I already know it's fine. Like my emotions, my nerves are not going to like rise up. I can like,
yeah.
I mean, they still usually will, because that's just what happens when you're watching a show.
And if
But
it's like good
but
done.
at least, when it's well done,
Yeah.
even if it ends up like in like this like heart-wrenching death, and you're just like, it's okay. I knew that. I knew it. It's fine. I'm like, I will live. Oh man.
Yeah. I have that the death. I have that every single time I watch Top Gun, like the first one. Like when Goose is dying, I have that every single time.
Okay, side note, I read that there was, and I would have to go like back and double check, but I'm pretty sure there was a stunt pilot who died the same way when they were making the movie, who died the same way that Goose does. Like it, like still, like so very, like a very tragic accident.
Yeah.
But I was just like, art imitates life, and life imitates art, and it was just like, I was so when I found that out, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Oh my god. Next time I watch that, I'm going to cry even more.
Okay, but I am glad that you brought up Top Gun. not to change from talking about something really sad. You've seen Top Gun Maverick, right?
Yeah.
Kate, how do you feel about the two love story like side plots in Top Gun versus Top Gun Maverick?
So
which one do you prefer?
I am a big Kelly McGillis fan. So
I'm not like, I think that they did the Maverick love story better.
Yeah, well, I thought like both, like obviously we have Tom Cruise who's like in both films, obviously. Mm-hmm. And it is well executed, like time wise. Like if you think about love stories, right? Like I think her name's Charlie. Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah.
Like in the first part, it's like you can kind of sense that like it's fitting the storyline, and also the age of like both of the characters. Like they cannot, how should they stay together?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. For me, I think I do wonder if my view is because I didn't watch Top Gun at all until last year.
Ooh.
Because my family we were gonna go see Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I need to watch Top Gun. Yeah. Even though, you don't necessarily need to watch Top Gun in order to enjoy Maverick. But so maybe because I was watching it in the year 2022.
Yeah.
For me, I felt that I think that changed how I would have viewed that subplot, because the whole there's the scene where she's like, she's an instructor, he's a student, and but you're different, and I'm just like, that is so cliche, but then also I'm like that other part of me is like, if this was 1986, would you have eaten this up? And I probably, maybe
Yeah.
maybe I would have enjoyed it tremendously, but it just felt like it for me, the reuniting of Penny and Maverick felt better felt better felt better executed,
Yeah.
versus having like the excitement of the instructor with the hot shot.
Oh yeah. See.
I can see I can see where they were going with Charlie, and I think Kelly McGillis like really executed that well. Like, I think she did a good job.
Yeah.
I just don't think the writing of their relationship is what is like helped.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I think she in her role, I think she did a good job, because she was tough, she was smart, she was also feminine. Like, she was very much I watch her and I'm like, yes, I love this for you. This is great. You are what I like. If I were aspiring to be a civilian instructor who get yes, I love this. But the way they played it, like the way they wrote their love story, where it very much like the way she was emphasizing you're different, like there's something special. I just think they could have done it better.
Yeah, right.
Whereas they bring in like this level of mature, which, I mean, granted, yes, he was like, I think Tom Cruise was like 23.
Yeah.
When he did Top Gun.
Yeah,
and so there's very much like youth involved versus Top Gun Maverick, where it's like, where he's like, I'm mature, like I'm never gonna leave you again. Like we're very much adults here. And so for me, there was a better balance, both of the writing and the acting, where I think the writing in Top Gun was a little, I think they focused more of their writing on the relationships between the guys, both between Goose and Maverick, and then also Iceman and Maverick.
Yeah.
Which
definitely.
Which they should have, because that's very important.
That was
But I think the writers let Charlie's character down a little bit, and for that, I don't like it as much. I think it could have been better.
That's true. Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, did I totally just like take down your favorite?
No, absolutely not. I was like about to thank you for like analyzing this for me. No, but it makes so much sense. But time wise, it fit, and I'm glad that Charlie and Maverick are not coming together, because Charlie deserves so much better.
Well, she does. She really does.
Well,
I know. No, I think even before knowing that Kelly would not be coming back for Maverick, I wouldn't have wanted Charlie to come back, because there's no purpose for her there.
Yeah.
As far I know, I remember reading that different controversial stuff from her, her about why I think it was from her, why she didn't come back for it, or why she was not invited.
Yeah.
But story wise, it wouldn't have made sense. She was a civilian instructor. He was always gonna stay.
Yeah.
In the Navy as a pilot.
Yeah, it was truly just a nice fling in there.
It was. And so that I remember my mom was like, yeah, they didn't bring her back. And I was like, yeah, but like it wouldn't have worked. They definitely like at least maybe like they would have stayed together like a couple of months after the
Right.
events of the first movie, but
Maybe even I would not have wanted to see that actually. And I'm
no.
I'm a big Charlie fan, but like I would not have wanted her to come back and get back together the first summer fling from like 1986, like that's a
Oh,
bit.
her first day when she went not at the bar, but when she walked into the like her
Yeah.
first scene when she was teaching, I was just like, yes, this is great. Oh, love her so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah, Charlie. Go on. Rock on. You're so much better off than
Oh
um,
man.
no, but like but it is matching perfectly the vibe of the 80s. Like, do you think Baby and Johnny have ever met again? Like from Dirty Dancing? Do you think they
Oh, I love seeing, which side note, I love seeing those like those edits on
Yeah.
social media when they're like which like of your like favorite like of your favorite like rom-com couples do you think ended up together? Baby and Johnny, mm, that I could see it going both ways. Because on the one hand, and probably the more like probably like the greater part of me is like, you know what? No,
Yeah.
because she's 18. She's going to go to college. He's
Yeah.
going to keep working in the Hamptons as a private
Yeah.
as an instructor, though he'll probably be better paid because everyone knows how good he is.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would have ended up together. But on the other side, I could totally also see maybe
Yeah.
it working out in the long run. But that's very much like the stars all have to be aligned,
Yeah.
and Baby would have to like figure something out for like she would have to figure herself out a little bit more to like
Yes.
what it because again, yeah, what is she going to do next?
Yeah.
If she
She's like,
decided to go like maybe if she decided she wanted to like be like a dancer like and start a movie in that way,
yeah.
maybe. But yeah, probably long term, no. No.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, like that's pretty much the 80s, right? We like 80s movies, like all
The
the love
people you would
stories are,
never oh yeah, the people you would never expect to get like together, like they're the focal point of the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we love
And it's fun.
watching,
And
I
it's
love rewatching those movies. Like they're
oh yeah.
great.
Oh
And they
yeah.
definitely shape my romantic standards. But or what else? Like Pretty in Pink,
See,
like
I never I
Rain.
never got it. I never got into the
Ooh.
so like 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink. I never really got into those were the John Hughes movies,
Johnny
right?
Hughes movies, yeah.
Yeah, I never really got into those, but I would see them, and part of me was like, do I want to watch this? Do I not want to watch this?
I made it very high schooly. Like I love watching them when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like, um, but yeah, I just wanted to say like the 80s. That just realized me like talking with you about Top Gun and like difference between. I mean, I could probably go on forever talking. Like I had like really moments in the cinema I got upset actually watching Maverick because it was like because I'm a big fan of the first one. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've watched the second one and I was like constantly whispering to my mom's boyfriend. I was constantly he's at like right there and there's some stranger sat there. So I needed to process my thoughts and I constantly said whisper in his ears. I was like, this is just a copy of the first part. Like this is what like like the beach scene and whatnot and I was like really upset about that. Despite all that, it's a good movie and I said many times I'm like this is a good movie and I think if Tom Cruise would have been like I made a movie inspired by Top Gun I think I would have loved it, but because he kind of really pushed it as a sequel I kind of didn't like it.
Well, and see, I thought it was a good like a good sequel. Like
Interesting.
it actually it elevated the story like the storyline because you know how like you have like that's one of the problems with sequels is if the first movie is something like that, become especially the ones that where it becomes a cult classic, like Top Gun,
Yeah.
where it
Right.
like if you have one that is so steeped in nostalgia, and then
Yes.
a sequel comes out, you have to enhance
Yeah.
what's already there, because
Right.
otherwise people are going to be like, this is like, why would they ruin my love for this original with
Right.
now I'm going to have this sequel as like always hanging as an afterthought of, like,
Right.
anytime I watch the first one, it
Yeah.
will ever be ever present. But I think
True.
one of the things that they did with Maverick that I really liked was that it did show, like, it did put Maverick in a little bit different of a position.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I
So
did
he's
like that.
yeah. So he wasn't like they like he's still like the fact that he's still dealing with
Mm.
Goose's death. The fact that even though that, like, kind of like resolved itself a little bit in the first one, just for the sake of the plot, the fact that he needed to be able to move past and come back to Top Gun to finish, and he
Yeah.
did that. But now you're really seeing, like, the consequences of, like the true consequences of Goose's death,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
the fact that Rooster has grown up without his dad, and
Yeah. Oof.
the fact that his mom, unbeknownst to him, had requested, I don't want my son to fly.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so, like, I love that that in Maverick we're seeing, like real consequences of the first movie,
Yeah.
and now actually being able to, like, see Maverick truly process them in a way that we weren't able to see in the first movie, because
It just
the
happened.
death, it just happened. But also, like, you have like you have pacing, and
Mm.
when you have like a big event
Yeah.
happen in a movie versus happening in a TV show, where you have, like, the
Right.
rest of a season. With a movie, you have 2 hours,
Yeah.
give or take,
And
to
usually,
get.
yeah,
And
usually.
usually that event is in the middle.
Mhm.
And so you're already losing all of this other time. You had that was all the setup.
Yeah.
So now we have even less time to
Mm.
process. But now there's a sequel where you can actually be like, okay, he's still dealing with this. He's still, and you're actually able to see the growth that young Cruz could not give you, because he was young
Yeah.
and it had just happened.
Right. Wow. I need to rewatch them now.
This is this is what I do. I will say, like, I was an English lit major in college, and I will just, like, sit there and analyze movies and be like, and watch, like, the plot, and just be like, one of my favorite things is when because I also, amongst all, like, aside from, like, the Disney movies and other movies that I watch, I also watch a lot of Asian dramas,
Yeah.
like Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Thai. Um, and and I read a lot of webtoons that also tend to come from those countries. And one of my favorite things is when they have the story where the main character goes into a story. So, like, the main premise is a story within a story.
Mm.
And our main character, us as the readers, as the viewers, our main character is being sent in, not as not as the story's main character.
Right.
So, like, what so the one that I've been watching recently when I've been writing, Lost Romance.
Mm.
It So the main character, Xiaoen, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's pulled into this book that she had been editing as a book editor. And so she's aware of the plot and everything. And so she knows who she knows who the female lead is. But when she's pulled in, she's not the female lead. She's a side character. One of, like, amongst, I think she's like she's like a minor villainess.
Right.
like a minor antagonist for the female lead to kind of help encourage their like that love story to come together. And so it's really cool to see the female lead of the story when she's not actually the lead we should be encouraging.
Yeah. Oh.
Because the way that she's set up, and this is something that I think about so many times. Just like the idea of like if characters aren't the main, if a character who's a main character were not the main character, would I like them? Would I still support them because of what they're doing? So like this original female lead of this story, she's not someone I would like. I would not like the story with her as the character, because she's that clumsy, like uber kind, but in a way that it's just like, you should not be so, like, this is not good, like this is not cute,
Yeah.
like that you're doing this, and yet I'm supposed to believe that the male lead is just going to like fall head over heels for you because you keep tripping and you keep stumbling into him. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. No, but it's cool seeing it from the outside in, and seeing like her as like from the point of view of someone else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I like that.
Yeah.
But then also because the character, like, you do see like the way they wrote that story was so good, because you see her starting to fall apart when she starts getting supplanted as the female lead, and it's so cool to watch.
Okay.
And just that concept of, what if a main character is no longer the main character? Like, how would they react to that change when they can no longer fulfill the role that they were genuinely destined to do?
Yeah.
How will they react?
I actually we're running a bit late, but
Oh, sorry.
no worries. No worries. I was just taking the time, and I was like, oh, we talked so much about Top Gun. We love Top Gun in this house. No, but literally it was here, my second fiction novel. I wanted to write, like, right, I thought in the beginning, I'm a pantser, so I just write as I go.
Yeah.
And I wanted Annabelle, the main, like, I wanted her to be the female main character, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, this is going to be a love story. So I'm like also putting in a guy, calling him Harrison Selleck.
Yeah.
And then during the writing process, I noticed, like, oh, holy shit, I think Harrison is the main character. Like, I've been really enjoying writing him. And so I've just had more views, like, from him than from her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine with that. And then towards the end of it, I actually, like, so something I've never noticed, never really quite figured out, was like, who's the who's the narrator of this? Am I the one? I don't think so. Like, and towards the end of it, sorry to spoil you, but I figured at the end, the voice kind of revealed for myself in front of the page, and so for the reader it also reveals itself. Like, there's a complete
I love that.
there's a
Yes.
there's a complete different character in the story that but
I love
you would
that.
have never expected that they're narrating the story of Harrison and Annabelle. So
yes.
um
I love that.
you
I
should
love
read my
that
book.
so much. I really should. And I will. But I love that. I love that you did that. And I love
Yeah.
that is how the story played out, both to you as the writer and to the audience. I love when that happens, because it changes the intent, that it makes you have to read again now that you know.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have to go back and be like, were there signs?
Yeah.
Were there clues? And am I supposed to feel like, do I feel differently about these characters now when I know that so and so is the one who's watching everything?
Yeah.
Yes. This is the type of twist that I love.
Yeah. Great. I loved writing it. When I reread then the novel for the first time, I actually saw how like Easter eggs were in there, and I was like, how did I not know this? Like, as the writer.
Yes. Oh, I am so excited to read this now. I'm so excited.
Yes, and
Great.
I actually know. So the first printing run didn't have, it had a different blurb. It's like basically Harrison Selleck, right? Like I sell that Harrison Selleck is the main character. Otherwise, it would like not make sense. Like it's the plot twist.
Yeah.
But at the end I said like to kind of just put the reader up for the book. I'm like, but his life changes when he meets Annabelle. And I actually now the new printing runs. So probably if you decide to get a physical copy, you're going to have the new printing run, which says his life changes when he meets Annabelle and her like dot dot dot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was a major plot twist for myself too. I was like,
oh, that's awesome.
I did write
that.
That's
awesome.
I don't remember that. Like, how did I write that? And it's actually funny because I said like I'm not the narrator of the story, and I never really thought I was the narrator of the story. But like friends of mine have read like the character's kind of known in the book, but it's just not. You would never really think of that. But my friends, one friend of mine who knew about the plot twist because I had told her about it. Yeah. She read the book and she was like the actual narrator at the end, like that's you. Like the character has like she likes the same stuff as me and whatnot. And I was like, well, okay, so maybe I am the narrator.
Like okay, yeah, I guess I can take on that role. It's fine. No, I love that. That's awesome.
Yes, so this was the preview or the bonus episode of next week's interview I've done with Jocelyn. We talk all things Disney storytelling and how to build up a consistent writing routine, how to show up, how to keep oneself accountable. And yes, so that's next week, the 3rd of April. And make sure to subscribe to get notified when that is coming out, when that is out. And yeah, check out our new music and film club. I hope you have a wonderful, nice day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you when you're listening to this, and we talk soon. Okay.